Hi guys, today I'll be taking a look at another community favorite tactile switch, the Boba U4. Let's get started. Now, the Boba U4 is a silent tactile switch by Gazzew. In fact, this was the very first switch to have the Gazzew nameplate printed on the top housing. And yes, this came before the U4T. Now, as it's a silent switch, it has dampening pads on the side of the stem as you can see here. That's to help reduce the sound on both the upstroke and the downstroke. It's a very common design trait for most silent switches. Now, in terms of pricing, these go for just under £6 for 10 switches on AliExpress. Although, bear in mind this is a sale price, they usually go for a bit higher than this. And this is what they look like when disassembled. Feel free to pause the video. Now, let's move on to the switch categories. On-center key presses are very smooth with almost zero scratchiness on normal key presses, but there is noticeable scratchiness when pressed slowly. Off-center key presses are similar, but again there is noticeable scratchiness when pressed slowly, even more so in fact. Overall, despite these issues, I consider these smooth and consistent, 7 out of 10. Now, according to the manufacturer, these switches have a bottom-out force of 68 grams, but they are also available in 62 gram weightings. Now, in terms of the actual key feel, they are basically a slightly heavier U4T, and it's a very minor difference. In fact, I don't know why they sell them in two different weightings. They're almost the same as far as I can tell anyway. Now, in terms of the switch travel, these also feel the same as the U4T, maybe a tad bit shorter because of the dampeners. But really, I can't feel that, and I doubt most people can or even care for that matter. Additionally, just like the U4T, these don't have any pre-travel before the tactile bump, which I happen to prefer. Overall, these are nicely weighted switches, only second to the U4T, and it's a very close second place. But these are slightly heavier than the 62 gram version by just a little bit, 9 out of 10. Now, as for sound, they're very quiet, just as expected of course. However, I will say that I'm not a big fan of how silent switches sound, so this isn't really for me sound-wise. But I will give credit to Gazzew for making a good silent switch, 7 out of 10. Now, take a listen and enjoy. Now, typing on these feels exactly just like the U4Ts apart from the slight increase in weighting and the much softer bottom out because of the dampeners. Oh, and also these don't chatter unlike the U4Ts, so that's good. And that brings us to its one main downside, which is the soft, mushy bottom out feel, which, yeah, is kind of unavoidable, but it's really difficult to make a quiet switch feel like a traditional one. Although with time you're probably either going to dislike these or get used to them. It's that kind of switch. Additionally, typing on these feels like walking on really thick carpeting if you've ever experienced that. And if you have, please let me know because I really dislike it. I prefer wood flooring over carpets, but that's just me. Overall, mushiness aside, these are the best silent tactiles I've ever used. So far anyway, and I think it's going to be very difficult to find another switch that overtakes these. Although, keep in mind that these are the 68 gram version, so they aren't light by any means, so it's not for everyone just in case I haven't said that yet. 7 out of 10. Now, gaming in contrast to typing was a lot more comfortable in comparison to the U4T, especially during long sessions as these have a softer bottom out, which in turn makes for a more relaxing experience. Yes, the mushiness is actually advantageous here. Additionally, these are very consistent in terms of smoothness and weighting, so no issues there. Plus, you can use these switches without any modifications, just like the U4T, which is definitely a big plus. Overall, I actually prefer these for gaming compared to the U4T, which I didn't think I'd be saying, but here we are. Anyway, if you're looking for a silent tactile switch for gaming, this is a very solid pick. 8 out of 10. In conclusion, it's not often I come across an outstanding tactile switch, but it's even more uncommon that I come across an outstanding silent tactile switch. And you know what? These are exactly that, outstanding silent tactile switches. The final score for this switch is 38 out of 50 or 76%. It's in the top 5, not surprising at all. And that's the end of the review. Next time I'll be taking a look at another tactile switch. Until then, take care and goodbye.